I'm Debi Peverill from Painless Financial Training Group, and this video is about how to fill in your federal TD1 form for 2019. So this is a two-page form, and the first box of it includes your name, your address, your date of birth, and your social insurance number. All information which you should be fairly easy to get and to fill in. So that's the first box. After that, we move on to the numbers. The box 1 includes the number $12,069, and it's pre-printed. You'll see it already on the form. That's the base amount that you're allowed to make in Canada in taxable income before you start to pay any federal income tax. So that's what they call the basic exemption, $12,069. In box 2, we have the caregiver amount. This is a federal amount called the Canada Caregiver amount, and it is for any child under the age of 18 who is considered infirm, and the amount is $2,230, and you can put that amount in for each child that you have who meets the criteria of being infirm. Box 3 is the age exemption. If you are over the age of 65 at the beginning of 2019, then you could be entitled to a further claim, which goes in this box. So the way the amount works is if you earn less than $37,790, then the amount of the claim is $7,494. If you earn over $87,750, you can make no claim for this. This exemption only applies to people whose income falls under the 37,000 criteria. It doesn't apply to anybody who is over the 87,750. And of course, there's a partial claim, and we'll talk about that in the worksheet. So if your income falls between 37,000 and the 87,000, then there's an amount you will be able to claim, and it's at the end of this video. Box 4 is your pension income. This is an amount of pension you're receiving that is not CPP, but is not OAS. So this is another kind of pension. And the amount you put in that box is $2,000, and it's been $2,000 forever. This is not an indexed amount, so it's an easier one to remember. Box 5 is tuition. If this is your own tuition, and it is greater than $100, then in this box you put the amount of the tuition you've paid, just the tuition, not your room and board, not your meals, just tuition. Box 6 is the disability tax credit. If you have a letter from CRA saying that you qualify for the disability tax credit, then the amount that goes in this box is $8,416. Box 7 is a spousal claim. If your spouse earns less than $12,069, then the amount you're allowed to claim federally is the difference between their income and $12,069. Of course, if your spouse earns more than $12,069, you don't have a claim in this box. Box 8, if you don't have a spouse, but you do have a child under the age of 18, you have something referred to as an equivalent to married or equivalent to spouse type claim, and that is the same thing. $12,069 less the amount that your dependent child earns. That's the amount you can claim, and of course this is a child under the age of 18. Box 9 is the Canada Caregiver amount, which is an infirm spouse or an infirm dependent under the age of 18. So in either category you have an amount to put in box 9. Box 10 is the Canada Caregiver amount for dependents age 18 and over. There's a worksheet on that coming up shortly at the end of the video. Box 11 is the amount you can transfer from your spouse. So if your spouse doesn't have income enough to use the deductions, then you can transfer the age exemption, you can transfer the pension exemption, and up to $5,000 in tuition. So this again is only in the case when your spouse doesn't have this income. Box 12 is the amount transferred from other dependents besides your spouse. So this would usually be the disability credit or tuition up to the amount of $5,000. So you now have numbers, or zeros, most likely, in all the boxes from box 1 through to box 12. You add those numbers up. The total you get goes in box 13. And this is, by and large, the amount of income you can make in Canada in 2019 before you're going to have to pay federal income tax. There are other things on this form. On page 2, there's a very important box if you have more than one employer. Canadians who have more than one employer have to be careful when they fill in these forms, because the $12,069 you're allowed to make in a year, you're only allowed to make once, of course. So if you fill in two TD1 forms with two different employers and you put in the $12,000 each time, you're going to have a tax bill when you file your return in April, because you're only entitled to that $12,000 once, and each of your employers has taken that from your income before they started deducting income tax. So this isn't a mistake you want to make. You want to put a tick mark in that box and not claim that $12,069 twice. There's also information there for non-residents. If you are a non-resident of Canada, you should have an accountant who has experience in dealing with non-residents. This is beyond the scope of this video, as we would say, so you would seek competent professional advice to what you do with that box. There's also provincial forms that need to be filled in. Each province has their own, and if you are claiming more than just the basic amount, you need to fill in a provincial form. We have a video on the Nova Scotia form because, of course, I live in Nova Scotia. The last thing that is on the form is additional tax. Do you want to have additional tax taken from your pay every time you get paid? The assumption being that then you're going to get a refund at the end of April. This is your choice to make. If this is a good way for you to save money, then go ahead and put a number in that box, and then you hopefully will get a refund at the end of April. The worksheet, I said I'd come back to the age amount. You remember that the age amount, of course, only applies if you're over 65. So if you're not over 65, you don't have to listen to this part. If your income is between, there's $37,790 and the $85,000 where the credit kicks in, then what you do is you take your income, whatever it is, you subtract $37,790, you multiply that by 15%, and that's the amount you subtract from the claim, which is $7,494. This is your age credit. So it's basically prorated. You get the full credit under $37,790. You lose the credit over the $85,000. In between, you get a portion of it, and there's a worksheet. Alternatively, you can put 0 there for the age amount. And then if it turns out that your income in 2019 is in a situation where you qualify, maybe you'll get more of a refund. I also said I'd talk about the Canada Caregiver Worksheet. This is for a spouse or child under 18. And again, the way it's calculated, the base amount is $23,906 less the dependent's income. So the maximum claim there is $7,140. So you need to know of course, your spouse or child's income in order to do that calculation. The child over 18, again, is $23,906 less the dependent's income, and again, the maximum is $7,140. So these worksheet amounts, you can get a TD1, and you can also get the TD1-WS. That's the form you would need to fill in the worksheet in order to figure out what amount goes on your TD1. So hopefully that helps you fill in this form. The assumption is that if you get the form done correctly, then you're not going to have a big tax bill at the end of April. Hopefully this is helpful.